Warm welcome to the Fresh Group induction training. I appreciate that I'm probably not the most gorgeous, professional and talented presenter that you've seen, but I do think it's important that you know that as the MD, this training is really important and we put a lot of personal effort to try and make it as valuable as possible. My name is Alan White and I am the Managing Director and founder of the Fresh Group. I have personally overseen, revamped and developed, and now I'm narrating this driver's induction. We will go through it later on in this induction program, but I cannot emphasize how important the drivers are to our business. Today's induction will last around 60 minutes, and I appreciate it's a massive download of information. All this information will be available via our QR code system, which we will talk about later. Our induction is designed to train all our new drivers and operatives how to work in the Fresh Logistics way. If you require a glass of water, a comfort break, or to use the toilet, please pause the video by pressing the spacebar and ask the person who's looking after you for assistance. Okay, well, let's get on with it. We have 3 main companies and they are all wholly owned by the Fresh Group. As a driver operator at Fresh, you can work for any of these companies due to having such a varied and exciting role. Which is the main company, is Fresh Logistics. Fresh Logistics was created by myself in 2008. The business started with 5k and I sat in my bedroom developing the business. One of the key reasons we have developed so much and been the fastest growing logistics business in the UK for many years is due to our commitment to service, standards and capability. We pride ourselves on our flexibility, our ability to get the job done at the highest standards. This is where you, our professional driver operators, come into play. Pharmaceuticals, which it is short for, is a dedicated, temperature-controlled pharmaceutical healthcare logistics business, which is part of our group. Business. We specifically aim at the emergency refrigeration requirements at stores like KFC, Nando's, McDonald's, Bill Burgers and so on. We also supply lots of festivals and weddings, parties that are in the garden, on-site refrigeration, which is mainly used for storing food and beer. The reason these are called family life values and not company values is because I expect everybody to act by these values throughout your life. If you are not this type of person, you are definitely working in the wrong place. When we talk about being proud, is expecting you to ask yourself the question, whatever you do every day, are you proud enough of the premises of your job, of where you work, to show your family around? If not, let's change it. It's not good enough. WIBIT is would I buy it? Well, would you buy it? If not, don't send it out and present it to the customer. Let's get it changed. Let's get it improved. Respect and care are just life values. Treat people the way you expect people to treat you. It's not a hard value. This is not a special value. Innovation. The Stone Age did not run out of stones. Everyone must evolve every day. Pushing the envelope, pushing the agenda, trying to improve, being proactive. Let's build the business. JDI, referred to often as JFDI, means just feckin' do it, because if you have an improvement, etc., come and talk to me. I'm the managing director. Talk to the operations manager, the planning manager. If it's worth doing, we can make a decision within seconds. You don't have to wait months and months and months like you do with a big business. And then we finally moved on to the operating principles, which let's discuss this further as how we develop our business and how we work. In principles, extremely simple. So not only can I understand them, but everybody else very clearly understands. We are basically a service business and our standards must be higher and will be higher than anyone else in our industries. Very simple. It's about tolerance, being proactive, helpful, conscientious, respectful, taking pride in your work, and being professional drivers. The next section will be on professional driving and professional drivers. We ask you to call in when there is an emergency. For example, if you're sick, if your vehicle or fridge is in a breakdown, if there is major hold-ups and you're involved in a road traffic collision, or if you encounter problems that prevent you from finishing your job. We want professional drivers, and we insist that our drivers follow our procedures and processes. If you don't, problems arise, which can be extremely costly, and we lose customers. A great example is that we always have drivers that leave their lights on when they're on a bay getting loaded or unloaded. The vehicle battery goes flat. It then costs £200 to £300 to get the vehicle recovered. Not only is it expensive and wasteful, we let the customer down, and everybody in the office is upset because it is so unprofessional and unavoidable. Fresh customer service has failed, and I promise you, the driver always says, "I never left the lights on, honest." These days, it is very obvious, but it does need spelling out, so it's clear to everyone. You must not use your phone while you are driving unless you have a hands-free kit and it is safe to do so. Getting caught on your mobile phone is a very frequent activity these days. Some very simple and professional disciplines will help you and us make sure that we service our customer. At the end of the day, a happy customer returns to us again and again, which makes sure everybody is kept in the job. Responsibility to abide by the road and traffic legislation, including speed limits, road signs and weight restrictions. If you experience any issues, you must find an appropriate location, stop and contact the office. We use WhatsApp at Fresh for sending photos and large amounts of information. Drivers often photograph their paperwork showing multi-drop destinations and send it via WhatsApp to the office. That's so the guys can put the multi-drops on the stream system and you can now follow your system. Here we are. All fines are payable by you, so don't get any fines. We actually don't want our drivers to get any fines because we must do the administration, and I promise you it's a ball ache. We will pay your fines because it is the company's name that will be brought into disrepute if they're unpaid. And we can offer you the facility that you pay it over 2 weeks to soften the pain. If you wish to contest the fine and you have evidence, just let us know. While I have you here, the main fine that we witness is in London, and it is stopping on a hatched box area in the middle of the traffic lights. So don't do it. As you can see from the video, this is not the way we want to work. We have poor standards. The product is on the floor, which we'll go through later. It's badly stored and stocked. He's not wearing any PPE, and he leaves his van open for everyone to nick the kit. Our drivers and vehicles are our shop windows. We understand that. We want all our drivers to present our business in the highest potential that it can be. Remember, you only have one chance to make the first impression, and we want to make a great impression, which is exactly where you come into play. As with all professional trades, you need tools of the trade, and you are required to, for your own workwear and tools, You need to wear clean, tidy blue or black jeans with trousers, dark socks and safety shoes, fresh dark polo shirt, not a t-shirt, and a clean high vis that we can issue. We ask that you always carry your driving licence because we do sometimes, on an emergency, get asked to go into places like prisons, old people's homes, Ministry of Defence, police stations, etc. and you require ID like your driving licence. As part of our quality management system, QMS, which we'll cover later, a single band wedding ring is allowed to be worn. Piercings, etc. that are on show, can they be removed, please? Please arrive with a fully charged mobile. Bring an in-cab charger for your mobile, a Bluetooth earpiece for your mobile. I understand the van has some available. A dash cam to protect yourself. You'll find that as a professional driver, we hit into, or they hit into us, professional claimers and crash for cash. You need an independent sat nav because your mobile will get a phone call just as you're in the worst part of the journey. We do have dash cams, sat navs, Bluetooth earpieces, etc. that we can lend you in the short term, maybe 2 weeks or so. And that's just because when you're starting off in a job, it can be expensive and we appreciate that. We now move on to personal hygiene. We're dealing with food, and it is of paramount importance that you have a high standard of personal hygiene. In the food industry, people have no qualms whatsoever telling you that if you smell a BO or if you look unhygienic, they will tell you publicly. You have been warned. So if you do not want to be told that, which obviously none of us do, make sure on a daily basis and before you come to work, you clean your teeth and make sure your breath is fresh. You have a shower daily. You wear fresh, clean clothes. And remember, you must wash your hands regularly, and especially after going to the toilet and doing grubby work. We've spoken about hand washing, and it's important to prevent the transfer of pathogens and germs. Always wash your hands after using the toilet. If your hands have cuts or sores on them, use a high visibility blue metal detectable plaster to cover them. We have them available in the office, and you will find in most circumstances they're available at your collection sites. They are commonly used. It's probably the simplest thing, washing your hands, but it's probably the highest problem that we have when transferring pathogens. We now move into somewhat laborious but very important health and safety. From the minute you clock in at Fresh to the minute you leave the Fresh site, you must be wearing PPE. That's what you're paid to wear. When you have finished your shift and you're walking back from your vehicle through the yard, you must ensure you are wearing all your PPE, including high vis, etc. If you see other people in the yard not wearing their PPE, it is your job as a responsible and professional driver to ask politely and remind them that they have to put on their high vis, etc. If that person does not put on their PPE, please let the manager know. Here is a list of the PPE and uniform. We ask you that you supply your own safety footwear, boots, shoes. You wear a fresh or dark polo shirt. Wear a pair of dark jeans or trousers, not ripped or bleached or anything that your younger sister would wear. High-vis jacket, and make sure you have a pair of gloves. You can easily buy new gloves, but not new hands. If you've ever been involved or witnessed a vehicle fire, it's rare but very scary. But if there is a vehicle fire, turn off your engine as soon as possible if it's not already turned off. Use the in-cab 2 kilo fire extinguisher to extinguish the fire as long as it's safe to do so. And then inform the office that you've used the extinguisher so it would need replacing. At Fresh, we are firm believers that people should go home exactly the same way they came into work. That's uninjured. Safety is about everybody, and I mean everybody in the workplace taking responsibility, making this place as safe as possible. We demand that the whole Fresh business team, including myself as the managing director, to take a proactive part in ensuring the safety of everyone that works here. If you do not know how to use a piece of equipment, such as a pump truck, a sack barrow, straps, cups, bars, etc., please ask. We have videos available on the QR codes to assist, along with senior drivers. People in the office can instruct you how to use the equipment safely. They are trained. Do not use equipment aimlessly and without the safety and technical knowledge. If you are a forklift driver, you must fill out the forklift safety check every single time you use it. The QR codes will be on the key fob. Workplace health and safety is an organic subject. As the workplace changes, develops and progresses, so must we. That's why it's important that as professional drivers using the equipment daily, as you know, that you ensure your input is heard. So please let us know. Common accidents known in the logistics industry are called slips, trips and falls. Some of the key areas of slipping over are on the fridge chamber floors, also in the back of the vehicles. It's not only our chambers and walkways that can be slippery. You must take due care when you're at customers' sites. Tripping over crates, pallets, pieces of wood, product, loading bars, etc. are common obstacles in our industry, and you must be aware of these hazards and take preventative action. We have QR codes on the key rings which lead you to the instant and near misses forms. A road accident is now called a road traffic collision, as it's deemed that somebody is at fault. You thank the Ford Motor Company for that. This is an industry calculation that states that every 6 near misses reported will prevent 1 accident. So the more near misses reporting that's carried out, the more prevention of accidents it follows. As it states here, our insurance excess is £1,000 for every single prang. So minimising accidents is not only good for your health, but it's also good for business. If you have had an accident at a customer's site, fuel station, car park or anywhere, you must ensure that you fill out that site's accident report. They will have one, they're legally obliged. Fresh reporting, you have to scan the QR code on the vehicle keyring, which will lead to an accident instant near miss report. This report will be complete at the time, and please call your manager. Once you return to base, you will be then required to finish off the accident investigation report. If you have a road traffic collision, there are golden rules you must follow. It is not your responsibility to accept blame, apologise or accept liability. If the other driver is asking, are you accepting blame? Are you accepting blame? They are probably recording your response. Tell the other driver that that is the role of the loss adjuster from the insurance company. Even if the blame is quite obviously yours, you must not accept any responsibility whatsoever. Please photograph and video the scene with your mobile and ask the other driver for their contact details so that we can contact them if it's just a small prang and we can pay for it privately rather than the £1,000 insurance access. Do not become difficult, agitated or annoyed with the authorities. You must fully cooperate with the authorities, otherwise you will just make a bad situation worse. The next session is all about QR codes, giving you the access to all our reports, films. It will show you how to use QR codes if you don't know how to already. Principally, you select your camera as though you are taking a photo. Put the QR code in the middle of the camera. Draw your phone backwards and forwards slowly. This will produce a prompt coming up on your screen asking you, would you like to open a web page? Just click on the link and it will lead you through to the media that you require. This section is about cross-contamination, which is extremely important. Cross-contamination of foods is easily dealt with by following a few basic principles. First principle is to ensure that you don't contaminate the product by ensuring that you have clean clothing and your hands are cleaned. You've got to make sure raw chicken or raw foods do not touch cooked foods. That's extremely important. Cooked foods are known as high risk foods. The reason they're high risk is because they don't go through any further cooking compared to uncooked foods, obviously. So the pathogens on the cooked foods will be digested by humans and not killed by the further process. Cross-contamination comes from dirty hands, from handling dirty vehicles, going to toilet, etc. Don't leave your vehicle doors open because it will, when loading or unloading, because it will result in your evaporators having condensation around them from the warm air. The condensation will then drip onto the product, contaminating it with dirty water. So keep your doors closed when you're loading, unloading. Does cross-contamination occur? Well, ensuring that contaminated stock is removed from the area, making sure that exposed products are cleaned away immediately. You're preventing cross-contamination is by using a process called K-Go. K-Go. Clean as you go. K-Go. Drivers, we do not put boxes directly on the vehicle floor. DHL, etc., and if you have delivered for parcel companies previously, this is a standard practice. In our business, the cardboard will become wet and the product may become contaminated. So you must always use a pallet. If you don't have a pallet, ask the collection site for what we call a slave pallet. We are now moving into the temperature control section. Unsurprisingly, temperature control is very important in our industry. Germs love temperatures of 37 degrees, which is body temperature. Germs, pathogens, grow quickly between 20 and 50 degrees C. Below 5 degrees, they become dormant, but they're not killed. You have to heat and boil products over 63 degrees, and pasteurization happens at 76.6 degrees C. Gives you a good idea how hot milk has to become before it's pasteurized. As with all industries, we have industry standards and norms. So frozen is -18 or above or below, so -18 to -25. Chilled is between 2 and 5 degrees, we aim for sort of 2. Pharmaceuticals is between 2 and 8 degrees, which we aim for 5. And then positive ambient, which is controlled ambient temperature, is between 15 and 25 degrees C, for which we aim for 20. Ensuring that we run the product within its journey at the right temperature is paramount. The reason we stress that these checks are carried out is to prevent a term that we use in the industry of cooking the load. The stream system will have all this information on it, but you must check with the dispatch department that you're collecting from to ensure what temperature the product has to be, like a check and balance. A simple question is this frozen or chilled, Gaffer? And they'll soon tell you. If the temperature is conflicting to what the stream system says or what you've been told, please do call the office. Now move on to safety checks. Pre-vehicle, pre-shift safety checks. Checks will be on your stream system. We call them safety checks or bang sheets, but they must be carried out every time before you use a vehicle. They also means that if you're exchanging the vehicle with another driver, carry out your bang sheet. You must carry out your own vehicle safety checks. It is your legal responsibility to do this. We allocate enough time for these checks to be carried out. So things like changing bulbs and minor adjustments, we expect you to carry them out. Section will be about load security. Every vehicle that you will drive should have 2 loading bars and 4 cups. The loading bars should be stowed in the cups when not in use. There's 3 ratchet straps that should be under the passenger's seat in good working order and tidy, of course. It is safe to say that in the transport industry, sending a pallet over or shunting a load is a cardinal sin. It's unprofessional, it's amateur, it's incompetent, to say the least. I don't think there's actually any mitigating circumstances whatsoever that you could state that could potentially prevent you being dismissed for misconduct and incompetence. Not only here, but in any business in the UK and probably Europe. Vehicles, we use vehicle dividers, which split the refrigeration chambers into 2 areas. One area, which is on the headboard, will be frozen, and the other area at the back will be chilled or ambient. The use of the divider divides the refrigeration temperature into 2 regions. These dividers have other names, as in a partition, a mattress, and a divider. Golden rules for load security. First and foremost, make sure your load is safe and secure. If you are unhappy with your load security, don't move the vehicle and call the office. Stop and check your load periodically, making sure straps are tight, secure. Always check the load on driver changeovers, because it is your responsibility once you take the vehicle and load on. Stop 5 minutes before you get to your destination and check the load is safe and secure. If it's not safe and secure, please correct your load, inform the office and present the load to the customer. Vehicle specs, height, length, width, are available via the QR codes. Just scan the key fobs. Do not overload your vehicle. No one will thank you and no one wins. The vehicle will get impounded. The headache of sorting that mess out starts, and you will get fined, the customer will get fined, the business will get fined, and we'll probably have the lovely DVSA coming in to audit and visit us, etc. The next section is about refueling the vehicle. Experienced drivers know it is a non-negotiable and you must fuel up fully, with no exceptions. The reason is for if a driver is called out at say 2 o'clock in the morning, the last thing he wants to do is top up the diesel tank and try and find a petrol station and so on. So let's look after each other. Know about putting AdBlue accidentally into a diesel tank. It costs thousands and thousands of pounds to correct it. It has happened to us a couple of times. Putting AdBlue into the vehicles is now a 2-man job to prevent costly mistakes. AdBlue is available from the office. Just drop us a line when you get too low to organise a top-up. After this induction, the office will tell you the apps to use for the fuel cards that we use. You can search the fuel card app anywhere in the UK to find your nearest train fuel station. We will inform you weekly which card to use for that week. Check and then double check that the mileage and or kilometres are entered correctly at the fuel station. As we know, the cashiers at some points don't always enter it correctly. Enter miles for vans and kilometres for heavy vehicles. It's about after you finish your day of duties and you're returning to the yard. When you are near the end of your shift, you have the final finishing off duties. We do not just park the motors up and run. When parking the vehicle up, make sure the vehicle is returned in the correct manner. Bringing rubbish back to the yard is most unwelcome. You do not need to bring the rubbish back to the yard. Leave all the commercial waste at your delivery or collection point, including pallets, roll cages, and so on. All personal rubbish and cab rubbish should be put in the bins at the fuel station. Any rubbish that needs to be brought back to the yard must be authorised by the manager. When returning to the yard, it's important that all vehicle and van drivers wash their van and fill out the van wash form. Circumstances do occur when the van cannot be washed. Missing the van washed must be authorised by your manager and the app completed. Class drivers do not have to wash their vehicles due to driver's hours, duty time, etc. Should be clean, ensuring spillages are cleaned away and rubbish removed. Please do not bring rubbish back to the yard. It is not appreciated. Fridge chambers need to be emptied or packaging pallets and swept clean. All customers' rubbish must be left at the customer's site. Final task for the end of day is to dip your digicard if you're a class driver and then to sign out. When dipping your card, make sure all manual entries are up to date. Manual entries must be done before the end of the next working day on your card. This section is about mechanical breakdowns. As with all working kit, the big metal things sometimes fail. One thing I can guarantee is that the metal kit will fail. It's a characteristic of the industry. Dealing with breakdowns professionally, quickly and concisely is exactly what we strive and inspire to do. As soon as you identify the mechanical breakdown, contact your manager immediately. Keep the chamber doors closed. We have about 90 minutes before the temperature starts to increase in the chamber. We have done the tests. Make sure when you're on the motorway shoulder that you locate yourself on the motorway bank, away from the vehicle. But please make sure you keep the vehicle in sight to ensure security. Well, this section is all about promoting all of us. The best way to gain new business is when we have done a good job and delivered. Take a moment and ask for the number and email of the person in charge of transport. Every new delivery point is a potential new customer. The emphasis on behaving in a professional manner always cannot be higher. Let's be clear, if you're not proactive in promoting the business, we often will send someone that is. We have a couple of bonus schemes, which includes our Insta monthly. Park the vehicle next to a famous landmark or our beautiful countryside. Anything really, as long as it's interesting. Photographs can win the Insta monthly, which is about 25 quid, so good luck. As it says, a wow bonus is about when you wow a customer so much that they take the effort to make a call or send us an email, saying what a wonderful egg and they are impressed by you. We love giving out wow bonuses because that means our customers are impressed with our service and they will return to us. There is no limit to the amount of wow bonuses that you can win. We now move on to the section called Good Distribution Practices. Covering GDP training will ensure that you are trained to work for Fresh Pharma. GDP is a set of practices used within the healthcare logistics. We have many slides because there is a lot of areas to cover. At some point there may be repetition, but this is all to do with compliance rather than explaining twice. Throughout the GDP session, we are obliged under the compliance regulations to ensure that you are informed about several different aspects of GDP. It may seem overkill, but these are the regulations. So all persons involved in wholesale distribution activities should be trained on the standards of GDP. Where contract parties are used, the pharma companies using them must make themselves aware of the driver training and the GDP compliance via audits. So we're actually audited on your training. Drivers should be trained to understand why GDP is critical for patient safety. It is also an EU directive and global standard requirement. So the GDP objectives is all personnel are trained to approve practices and procedures, ensures your safety. Delivery and collection addresses are confirmed via bona fide addresses. Increases the vehicle security, its compliance and its traceability, and its best practice. So after this training, you will understand what your role and responsibilities are in maintaining safe and secure transportation within the healthcare supply chain. You will understand how critical your role is ultimately to patients' safety. So a brief overview of GDP and the training. It is important to know how to move medicinal products correctly, because they will and can be taken by the most vulnerable people within our society and communities: the young, the old, the sick, the infirm. Furthermore, it is also likely that the products can and will be taken by your loved ones within your family, friends and social circles. So safely transporting the products are paramount. This will and does have a personal effect on you. So why and what is GDP? So throughout this presentation we will be covering what are your responsibilities as a GDP trainer and driver, why is it critical that you carry out your job correctly and fully, why is your job so important, and carrying out your job ensures patient safety. So within the GDP training, what is a good driver? You must be aware of what you are carrying and understand the temperature controls required. You're responsible legally for the integrity, security, condition of the load, to ensure the safe collection and delivery, and to be alert, awake and vigilant to potential hazards. So what is a good driver? Well, security conscious and vigilant, keeps documentations and PDAs in A1 condition, ensures legible and clean signatures with surname printed, timely communication with the office, and delivers only to bona fide addresses. So where do you fit in? As you can see on the slide, these are the different areas of pharmaceuticals that you could be transporting a variety of goods to and from. So throughout this presentation we're going to cover what is GDP, why is it important, who are the regulators, and why do we need regulators, and why do regulators want to see people who handle, collect and deliver medicines trained in GDP. So what is GDP? Well, it's quality assurance and control, ensures high standards, ensure that we have a traceability system, and ensures that the licensing and approved people are only involved in the collection, transportation and delivery of pharmaceuticals. Furthermore, it covers the sourcing and the storage of pharmaceuticals. Fresh Logistics, we see quality not as a department, but it's actually a business objective. So who are the regulators? Well, we have the MHRA, the Medical and Healthcare Regulatory Agency in the UK. In Ireland, we have the MPRA, which is Medical Products Regulatory authority, and then we have, you would have heard of the FDA for the states, Food and Drug Administration. But be aware, each European and worldwide country will have their own regulatory authority. Most of the regulations will principally, give or take the odd one, be very much the same. So why do we need regulators? Well, we need them to protect and enhance the standards within our supply chain. We need to make sure that all medicines are registered and regulated, otherwise they can be harmful. They also provide guidance on how to achieve those standards before they start to issue licenses. Regulators want to see people who handle, collect, deliver medicines trained in GDP because it's critical to the safe collection and delivery of pharmaceuticals. Also ensures the safety and the security of such pharmaceuticals. Supply chain integrity, ensuring products are original and handled safely. Traceability, making sure the supply chain is safe. And patient safety, ultimately delivering safe and secure medicines. As mentioned earlier, everyone from babies to OAPs, the general public, your friends, family and loved ones will be using these medicines. You fit into the GDP system. And why is it critical that you carry out your job correctly? You will have an impact in every part of the business and the GDP supply chain system. A small issue on the shop floor could mushroom through the business and create catastrophic results. We're going to go through how do you fit into the GDP system and why is it critical that you carry out your job correctly, because you are the heart of our GDP system. The GDP driver, you must supply the correct product delivered to the correct customer on the correct time every time. Your delivery can be a matter of life and death in some circumstances, so you may not get a second chance. To ensure patient safety traceability, it is essential all along the supply chain so you can manage a product recall if the need arises. All GDP must conform to all EU directives and regulations and our local guidelines. We are going to move on to our quality management system, which we call QMS. QMS, the key component for a quality management system, is effective induction and ongoing training for all personnel. Bona fide dress is used, operational support and assistance is available to ensure documentation is maintained. We include the transportation and the supply chain when we talk about premises, vehicles and all equipment. We have to ensure that we have a high level of vehicle standards. All our collections and deliveries are coherent and adhere to our quality management system. We have a returns and recall system that's documented and held on our quality management system. And then we also do carry out audits, which is called self-inspection. You will be privy to driver audits, vehicle audits, site audits, and so on. Our quality manual is referred to as a QMS, our quality management system. A digital copy of the Fresh QMS can be found via your QR code on the vehicle key fobs. Just click on that and click through, and it's a fascinating read. Proof of delivery or proof of collection note, POD, POC, It's important that we ensure the integrity. The POD is an essential and critical document that ensures the integrity of the product traceability. The MHRA want to see more evidence to ensure that all medicines are traceable. The POD will have all the information on the medicinal products and is the final, if you like, release note of the product. Furthermore, in many cases, the POD is also the key trigger for stock, finance and transport management of the product. All medicinal products are identified via a batch number, which is within the product for the whole of its life. So that's how we identify that product from that factory at that time, by the batch numbers. Quality management system, and with reference to traceability, we carry out, as we mentioned earlier, self-checking or auditing. Audit checks and reports are an important tool to check and balance and ensure that the recall system actually works. Each audit is an opportunity to learn and develop the procedure, process and standards. As you can see below, we make commitments to our customers when transporting healthcare logistics. The reason that we're showing you this slide is to show that if you're in doubt of the impact you have on the fresh pharma business, let me reassure you it's critical. To ensure the integrity of our traceability and stock management systems, is a common practice is to amend a paper proof of delivery, proof of collection. So ensure the paperwork is corrected clearly and legible. Put a brief explanation of why and how. For example, if the product was missing from the load. Record the actual items missing and clearly print the person's name. If you and the customer sign and date, that will then give us integrity with that POD and we can amend the system accordingly. So how should you actually amend a paper POD? The document firstly must be legible. No ditto marks, Tipp-Ex, no pencil. Use a permanent pen only, ideally in black ink. Signed and dated by the person who carried out the activity, so that'll be you. If the printed name is not clear, ask the consignee for his surname or her surname and write that down so that you can clearly understand who received the goods on the POD. We will store copies and ensure they're retained, and all records must be available for inspection. So they need to be clear and legible. We ensure that we carry out training to achieve these objectives, ensuring that you are capable of performing your duties correctly and within compliance. And we need to demonstrate our training assessment is effective. Our compliance recall system will have the ability to successfully recall a defective product identified in a timely fashion with full traceability right across the supply chain. A collection from the customer's premises and returned to our customer, distributor's warehouse, manufacturer as soon as possible. The customer return will be handled and transported in keeping with the specific customer's product specifications, ensuring that we maintain temperature control. Complaints or adverse quality issues with product, service or equipment must be reported immediately. Being late with a delivery may affect the safety and efficacy of the product and must be reported immediately. We document and trend complaints and quality issues. From the trending, we can identify common issues and, if you like, easy kills, which resolve the issues and drives our quality improvement agenda. Throughout the fresh business, it's about getting things right the first time, doing the right thing the right way. I cannot stress enough how important it is that you take due care and attention when carrying healthcare or pharmaceutical logistics. This also applies to carrying any of our items. The reason the products are temperature controlled is because they are temperature sensitive, and the efficacy of the product can get ruined. Move on to storage and transportation. Control of storage and transportation temperatures are essential to ensure quality of the medicines, which equates to the patient safety and eliminates inadequate control. Avoid unacceptable degrees of heat and cold. Never interfere with the controls, and check controls via the TransScan every 30 minutes. Controlled temperature storage is monitored and controlled centrally via the guys in the office. This slide before, but as with this industry, we have industry standards. Frozen, -18, chilled between 2 and 5 degrees C, we aim for 2. Pharma is between 2 and 8, which we aim for 5, and then we have positive ambient, which is between 15 and 25 degrees C, and our target is 20 degrees C. Medicinal products should be correctly labelled to ensure temperature compliance, so read them and check them. Ambient is 15 to 25 degrees C, so we aim for 20. The chill chain or the cold chain, or refrigerated or chilled, is between 2 and 8 degrees C, we aim for 5. And deep frozen is -18 onwards. Ambient temperature, controlled temperature storage, which is CTS, controlled room temperature, which is CRT. Temperature control is used to ensure that the temperature regime is mechanically controlled. Leaving product out on a cold morning, say that's 2 degrees, does not equate to temperature control. That's just a cold morning. All medicines require control of storage and transport conditions so that extremes of hot and cold are prevented and potential spoilage of the product is prevented as well. Temperature signage and monitoring. Signage and labelling will be on every box, pallet and individual product. We will also tell you it on the stream system. So maintain the temperature control discipline. Your temperature monitoring equipment will be the TransScan, which, if you like, we see as God. That is printed out and taken every 15 minutes. So it actually doesn't matter what your screen says on your refrigeration equipment. The one that is the master is the TransScan report. Successfully moves us on to vehicles and equipment. As we have alluded to earlier, you and the vehicles are the fresh shop window. So make sure you do your pre-checks and faults get repaired. Physically examine the vehicle to ensure cleanliness of the vehicle inside and out, the chamber, the cab and the exterior. We have the cleaning records to review and ensure the vehicle is odour free. Ensure the vehicle is free from debris and contamination. The vehicle must be clean, sanitised and in A1 condition. If you are starting your shift, please contact your manager if your vehicle is not seen in this state. On that, I ask you to leave your vehicle in the state you would expect to find it. Pre-vehicle checks and faults must be reported and repaired. As we said earlier, changing bulbs and doing minor adjustments, you will be, as a professional driver, expected to change those. Bulbs are available in the office. Ensure that your vehicle's onboard kits are fully replenished, so make sure you have the cups and the bars and the straps and a spare tacho and a spare TransScan roll and so on. Physically examine all the plant and equipment, pallet trucks, sack barrows, wheels, to ensure high standards of maintenance. If there's a problem with it, we have a system here. It's called Wibbit. Would I buy it? With our vehicles, nearly all of them have been temperature mapped. Temperature mapping is when we put about 20 to 30 different temperature monitorers throughout the vehicle and go through all the different scenarios, opening the door, closing the door, turning it off, stopping, starting, driving in town, driving down the motorway, so that we can get a real good plan of the chamber and how it operates at different circumstances. Always set your refrigeration equipment to the specified set point. Now, if you have 2 evaporators, make sure you set both of them. The setting will be available on stream on the consignment and the job sheet. Do not deviate from that set temperature and report all anomalies, concerns and near misses. Monitor the temperature via the trans scan, as we said earlier, every 15 minutes. We have to ensure that facilities are suitable to meet conditions of the product for receipt, storage, dispatch and distribution. We invest a lot of money on our vehicles so that we know they heat, chill and freeze, and the insulation is twice the thickness elsewhere, because during the summer months when it's 30 degrees, the refrigeration, if it's minus 18, has to pull down nearly 50 degrees C, which is tricky when you've got thin insulation. Our MHE must be suitable for handling the products being received. We supply sack barrows, pallet trucks, forklift trucks and so on. All MHE must be in a clean, hygienic and serviceable order, so please check. We alluded to earlier, you are our shop windows with our vehicles, so let's talk about collection and delivery. We talked to you about premises because you need to be aware of them. When you walk around the Fresh premises, we'd like you to be aware of the standards that are required. And also, when you walk around one of our customer sites and you see something that's out of the ordinary, there is a very, if you like, professional way to communicate to the customer about a shortcoming on their site. We appreciate it's a tricky situation, but if you just say, excuse me, I think I've seen a mouse, and then show them where that is, that's a lot better than going, oh, this place is full of bloody rats. You know, there's a way of talking to people. So we must ensure that all premises are clean, tidy and free from litter, debris, dust, pests, spillages and breakages. We spoke about KGO earlier, about cleaning those up straight away. Most premises will have a glass, a smoking and a nut-free policy. So please do not take glass or smoke or nuts onto people's sites, including this site. Adequate pest control must be in place, which we do have. Products must be stored in accordance to, obviously, the product requirements. And storage is the same standards as our vehicles, or our vehicles are the same standard as our storage. We need to be consistent. So when you're making a collection and delivery, what must you check for? Have you got the correct product? That's the first one. Check the SKU numbers. Have you got the correct vehicle for the job? Is the vehicle too big? Is the vehicle too small? Remember, we do not overload the vehicles. Do you have the segregation of the products and the possible temperature dual compartment? Do you have your mattress? Do you have your divider? Ensure the products are not cross-contaminated by other products or packs. Ensure temperature requirements are set and monitored via the TransScan. Ensure that you have the correct paperwork, documentation and stream information. Does the vehicle have locks, immobilizers and is secure? Do you have load security bars and straps? Are you using them? Do you have the right people involved in the job? Talking about promoting the business and so on. Ensure that you are aware of the current and potential risks when you're carrying out every single job. Ensure the practical quality is the same as on the documentary stream. Conditions of the equipment must be clean, stable, dry, well wrapped and suitable for transport. Check the best before codes and dates to ensure that the consignment is fit for use. Ensure the physical product account, description, SKU numbers and labels matches the correct format and documentation. Ensure that all products are secure and safe. Always park in a public, well-lit and open space. Do not become habitual with your routes because gangs and gangsters pick up on it. Products must be well packaged so that they are secure in the vehicle and will not get damaged. Ensure that you monitor the load being loaded onto the vehicle, ensuring safe and correct loading. If they are loading on the side door of a van, forklifts really enjoy smashing into the bottom step. Keep an eye on them. Ensure that the documentation is accurate and it is proof of what you are transporting. If you get pulled by the police or the DVSA, they will ask what are you carrying, and if you do not know, you are breaking the law. It is important that you have the correct documentation on all products that you transport. You may not collect or deliver products that you're not authorised to do so. So when you're at a depot and they say, "Oh, drive, can you take this please?" you just speak to the office. It will take 2 seconds and clear everything up. Only ever deliver to the address on the documentation. Only deliver to genuine, approved, bona fide addresses. Check with the office. Do not go to a new delivery point. You take the product to the delivery point, you ring the bell if you like, and if they say that's not for us, you contact the office. And this leads on to never take instructions from a third party to change the collection or delivery address. Contact the office and await your documentation and or the stream system to be updated. Get documentations, your POD, proof of collection, properly signed and printed, as we spoke about earlier, with clearly legible handwriting. If in doubt, ask the consignment receiver their name and print it yourself on the documentation and put it into stream. We spoke about earlier as part of your PPE, always ensure that your mobile is fully charged, you have an in-cab charger, credit is topped up and your phone is full and working order. Not having any of these means you have turned up without your phone. It is important that the in-cab stream is checked to make sure that that's in full working order. If in any doubt, or if you are suspicious in any way, give us a call at the office. When you sign a collection or delivery document, you are legally confirming the correct amount of goods, the correct batch or the best before codes. The consignments are in good order. The product description matches. And the acceptance of the consignment temperature is correct. We now move on to the section about security in transit. Drivers, brakes and stops. Ensure the vehicle is locked, immobilized and secure. No unauthorized passengers are allowed on the vehicle. They're not insured, it's against company policy and it's a breach of the MHRA instructions. Loading seals and locks should be in place at all times. Park your vehicle in a safe, known, well-lit, legal and ideally under a CCTV area for when you have breaks. Try to park your vehicle back to back or back to a wall so they can't get in the back doors. All vehicle stops must be approved and authorised before you stop. Vehicles must be in sight at all times. during your break. Do not leave your loaded vehicle for more than 10 minutes. So go and have a wee, come back out, go and have a coffee, sit outside, have a look, sit in your vehicle. You know, you are on duty. Keep all valuables well locked away and out of sight. Usually underneath the passenger seat is a great place to put sat-navs, phones and whatever you don't want to carry them. Do not stop or pull over or nip into the garage to ask directions or for a wee or whatever. Call the office for directions, and if you have to stop, get authorization. Upon a routine inspection or a stop by the DVSA or customs or the police even, inform the office immediately. So as they're pulling you over, onto the phone. Always ask for the officer's identification. Get proof. Don't just let them flash you their ID. Have a look at it, potentially take a photo if they don't go mad, obviously. Get the police's number. Be professional, be polite, and do not apologise and explain that to the officers that you're likely to be carrying some sort of pharmaceuticals and therefore you are suspicious and it's a little bit difficult. Ensure that you document the officer's name, number, phone number ideally, which force he's with, their reason for inspection. If the stop was not routine, why the stop? What was the outcome as well? Jot it all down. It's important. Reseal the vehicle after inspection and ensure that all vehicle and write on the documentation that you was pulled by the DVSA or the police, and just so it's clear. Keep the office fully informed so we know exactly what's happening so we can talk to the customer. Upon deliveries, follow exactly to the letter the specific collection or the delivery instructions. Never remove or interfere in any way with the pallet, the carton or the packaging label of that product. Never disclose the contents or the nature of the products or load to anyone. If you witness or suspect temping with a load or trailer while in transit, report the incident immediately to the office with as much information as you can gain. If you are asked to change a delivery address or you are being diverted or redirected to an unknown address, do not digress and contact the office immediately. Ensure the address is a bona fide address, which at the office we can check via the customer. If someone attempts to flag you down or alert you to an issue with your vehicle, i.e. the back doors are open, etc., be suspicious and be alert. Thank the kind motorist and continue with your journey. Stop at a known location out of his or her sight. Ensure the safety of you and your vehicle is not unnecessarily put at risk. Your vehicle should always be secure and locked, and that includes when you're in it. That's ensuring your own safety. So when you're inside the vehicle, lock all the doors, whether you're in transit or stopping for a break. With fear of boring you, I just want to recap on the salient facts for GDP. Products must be transported to ensure quality and compliance, product security and safety, contamination free, no unauthorised passengers, high hygiene standards, collection and returns must have the correct documentation and proofs. Furthermore, your security and safety is paramount. We are getting to the end now, and we are now going to talk about falsified and counterfeit products and how you can prevent these medicines and pharmaceuticals getting into the supply chain with some very easy checks. Operation Pangea 8. Operation Pangea is an international week of action tackling the online sale of counterfeit and illicit medicines and highlighting the dangers of buying medicines online. Coordinated by Interpol, The annual operation brings together customs, health regulators, national police and private sectors from countries around the world. Activities target the three principal components used by illegal websites to conduct their trade: the Internet Service Provider, ISP, payment systems, and the delivery service. The operation has gained significant momentum since its launch in 2008. The first phase of the operation brought together 10 countries. It is now well above 100. Some of the dynamics from Operation Pangea. So between the 9th and 16th of June, it's every year, but we've taken the data from 2015. 115 countries, 236 agencies. The value of what was under investigation was $81 million, resulting in 150 plus arrests. Over 400 investigations were launched, 550 illicit pharmaceuticals removed from the internet, and websites taken offline were nearly 2,500. That's all within a week. A record nearly 21 million fake and illicit medicines seized, included blood pressure medicines, erectile dysfunction pills, cancer medicine and nutritional supplements. 2 websites linked to the sale of this potentially lethal and illicit drug, DMP, have been shut down. Falsified and counterfeit products are a major problem and extremely harmful. The counterfeit medicines can be used using harmful substances. They put like talc and bleach and stuff like this. The counterfeit medicines are peddled by organised international gangs, and the earnings are used for illegal activities. At best, a counterfeit product has no therapeutic effect. At worst, the patient can die from it. What can you do to prevent counterfeit and falsified products getting into your vehicle? Well, check the consignments. Ensure the documentation is correct and valid. Always ensure that your vehicle is locked, secure and parked safely. Always only collect and deliver to and from bona fide addresses. Do not take deviation instructions from third party. Contact the office. We are at the penultimate slide, second from last if you like, and we're going to just do some practice for the QR code. So if you switch your mobile on, click the camera. You can pause this video by pressing the space bar, but use your camera and scan the QR code. Move the camera up and down slowly and it will capture that QR code that's on the screen. Press the link that comes up on your mobile and it will lead you to the forms. Well, there we are. This concludes your induction. Please let the guys know you are finished and you can carry on and we'll finish your paperwork off. Welcome, look forward to seeing you. If you get opportunity, pop upstairs, introduce yourself to me and the team, it will be great. And let's get you organised in the business. I look forward to you working with us. Toodle pip.